Congressman Kinzinger. He is a Republican from Illinois. He's a pilot in the Air Guard. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. Just to start with, I think a lot of people out there, when they made the announcement, didn't realize that Governor Branstad has a 3-decade-long relationship with the Chinese president. It started when the Chinese president came to the U.S. on an agricultural mission. And obviously, you know, that's something that this governor knows a lot about. What do you think about this pick?
I think it's great. I think, you know, the depth of understanding of China, I think he has a great understanding of just foreign affairs and the role of the United States. And, you know, being a governor, you've learned how to deal with, you know, the bureaucracy of state. You learn how to deal with diplomatic relationships. And the other thing is, you know, it's obviously an ag state, too, an agricultural state, which is extremely important to our export and our trade. And so I'm excited. You know, it's a long line of, I think, very good picks so far.
And it shows you that this is probably a very high priority for Donald Trump. I mean, he talked about China and the relationship and how unbalanced it was so many times on the campaign trail. He picked someone that had the relationship and he thought was going to go in and be very effective. Do you think he's playing a little good cop, bad cop here? Because he does things like talking to the president of Taiwan, which is, you know, I think something to tweak China a little bit, but then he sends somebody in there that they have an extended relationship with. What do you think of that analysis?
I think it's good cop, bad cop, maybe, but I also think it's just a case of, hey, there's a new sheriff in town. And it's the, you know, I mean, it's ridiculous when a Taiwanese military officer or soldier comes to the United States to train. So if they're in Air War College, for instance, they're not allowed to wear their uniform in the United States. So they can be sitting in a classroom with all our allied nations in their uniforms, but they're in a suit. So some of that 1979 kind of arcane policy, I think President-elect Trump is saying, hey, we're going to put China on notice. You want to build fake islands out in the middle of the water and claim they're yours and claim the territorial water around them? That's cool. We're going to rebuild our relationship with Taiwan. And so it's a little bit of, hey, there's a new sheriff in town. We're not going to be push-arounds anymore. We hope to get along, but don't think you can just march all over us like you've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that we've sold arms to Taiwan. You know, we are contractually obliged to protect them if need be militarily. In the meantime, like you said, Donald Trump sounding like the new sheriff in town, and the Chinese media responding, saying, quote, the Chinese government has shown much restraint in responding to Trump's erratic behavior in a hope to have a smooth start with the next U.S. administration. After all, China-U.S. relations is just too important to be ruined by one incident. But Trump and some of his advisors need to understand that the Taiwan question is not something to be flirted with. That was Friday's China Daily. What's your reaction to that salvo?
Well, first off, China's not going to tell us what to do anymore. I think that's an important point to note. Second off, hey, China, I understand your concern there. Why don't you start doing something about North Korea? Really, the only country that North Korea has a strong relationship with is China. They have a tremendous amount of leverage. So, look, I agree. This isn't something you come into willy-nilly and just start throwing bombs and just saying whatever, because it is a sensitive relationship and it's a very important relationship. But it is also essential that we come in and say, look, just because you're a powerful economy, not as powerful as ours, doesn't mean that we have to allow you to exert your hegemony in areas where our allies exist. So yeah. I think this is the beginning of us kind of pushing back and saying, yeah, not so quickly.
Meanwhile, I mean, you know, the Chinese saying that behavior is dangerous, folks on the left saying Trump's behavior is dangerous. What are the odds in your mind that it's dangerous?
You know, look, I think he's got great people around him that understand the effect of this. I don't think a call to Taiwan is going to lead to an invasion of Taiwan. I think China knows better. Look, the folks on the left, I mean, they've had a policy the last 8 years of, in essence, Chinese appeasement and worldwide withdrawal. So this is the opposite of that, so it's going to catch a lot of them in an uncomfortable situation. But again, we have a new president. The American people said we want a new direction on foreign policy and the economy, and I'm excited about working with him out here.
Yeah. Make no mistake, there is a new sheriff in town, no doubt. Congressman, thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend.